Jen, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you.
How did you get into theater?
Okay, well, it all started when I was about 5 years old.
Uh-huh.
And we did a kindergarten production of The Littlest Angel.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't. That's
Nope.
this little
yeah.
bitty show, and I think I was the smallest person in my class. I think that's why. So I was kind of like just picked for that, and I was like really, really shy. Still kind of am, even though people that.
So were you the youngest as well as the smallest?
I may have been.
Because sometimes you know how it is. The shows with the kids, you want somebody cute, but they know what they're doing somehow, and that's what you put in.
I don't know, but I was like little and shy, and but I just remember that I was like, oh, this is kind of cool because I don't have to be myself. I can explore. I don't know, just and then I went to a really small elementary school, and we had end of the year programs every year, and it was kind of like we just had to be in them.
Sure.
So, but I loved them because it's like that was kind of my first introduction to kind of the theater because we had to be in these plays. I got to be Gretel one year, and Hansel and Gretel. There was a day performance, a night performance. I was one of the day performance because the sixth graders got to be the the main people.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But it was fun, and I just remember thinking, this is really cool because, like I said, being shy, I got to be someone else, and it was just it was an outlet for me. And so I did like one show in junior high, like a community theater thing. It's called Almost the Bride of Dracula.
Man,
it was like a little kid show.
Yeah.
I was Dracula's mother.
Yeah.
And basically he had different suitors, and I'm just like, you need to pick a wife or something. You're just trying to marry him off. And that was fun. Yeah. And then I got it heavily involved in it in high school.
Yeah, so what did you do in high school?
In high school, one of my favorite roles was Lion, Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Okay,
I was Mrs. Beaver. Mm-hmm. That was really fun. And then, I guess, big break when I was a senior, we did I Never Saw Another Butterfly. It's about the Holocaust, kids in the Holocaust, and I was the main character, Raja.
Right.
I was the main character, and I just loved it. And we did UIL, because in Texas,
Texas,
we went to UIL and things like that. And then in college, I minored in theater, and then I also have my master's in theater from Texas Tech.
Right.
And so...
But you minored in it first.
Yes.
So what did you major in, though?
English.
You majored in English, okay.
And then I was a teacher before for 4 years in Texas schools, 7th through 12th grade. I did English, speech, and theater. Yeah. But then I did that for 4 years and realized teaching isn't really my thing. Yeah. I like hanging out with students more one-on-one, but just in the classroom setting.
Right.
If I could have just been a director and helped kids with that all the time, that would have been great.
Right.
Just all the other stuff I didn't want to do.
Yeah. So you survived high school teaching.
Yes, like I said, 4 years, and now I'm done.
How did you do that? Yeah, because my sister's done it too, and she taught kids. And maybe it depends on the school too.
Right. I was at really small schools where this one school I was the high school English teacher. Right. 9 through 12. It was tiny school. Right. So I got burned out pretty quickly, and it just wasn't my thing. I realized I enjoy doing theater more than teaching it.
Right.
But so I commend people who have been doing it for a long time.
That's wild. So why MFA?
Because I just wanted to. I just felt like that was something I wanted to do. You know what I mean? And learn different things, and just a chance to kind of do more performance. And so I did a lot of stuff during grad school, and I got with a community theater there. It was called the Garza Theater in Post, Texas.
Post?
Yes, it's called Post, Texas. Now, sadly, the Garza got condemned, so it's not really existing anymore. But it kind of reminds me a lot, kind of the Crighton, because it's in a small town, and kind of like, pride of that community. It's just sad that whatever happened. Yeah. And so just really nice people, kind of very welcoming. Like, this is my first show here, and so it's been really awesome being welcomed into kind of the fold. It is a small place, and so this is really great.
So what do you do? Like, you did teaching for a while, but you gave it up. That you'd rather do it than. So what do you do now?
Well, right now I work at a YMCA in the Woodlands,
like
in member services.
Right.
So I answer the phones. I'm nice to people all day. Helping them with their accounts, greeting people, and it's pretty low stress. It's like
that pays bills, but that's not what I hear. Robert says that you do these audio voiceovers.
Okay, and I also got into that last year. I do audio narration. Yeah. There's a website called acx.com. I'm not getting paid to plug them. I'm just saying.
Just say it.
It's a free site you can go on, put a profile, put samples of different things that you've done, and then you basically audition for different audiobooks.
But just remotely. You can do this by podcast or whatever.
Yeah, you can do it at home.
Right. Wow.
And so I just started last year.
Right.
So 2015 in January, and then I've done 4 projects so far. And then I did one, not from that website, but for a science fiction podcast, just a short story. So that was not paid, but the other ones, the only thing with that, there's royalty share or there's price per finished hour.
Right.
And so the ones I've done so far have been royalty share, and they haven't really made a lot of money.
Right.
But I've done it for the experience.
Right.
And that's
so to build a resume.
To build that's
that pretty cool.
And they're available. You can buy them on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes. So it's like legitimate.
Right.
You can Google my name, or you can put my name, and I'm there. And it's just kind of fun. That, so like I said, I'm still kind of building that up.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's kind of fun.
We're talking about how distribution mechanism of music and books and stuff like that has changed such that the hurdle is much lower, but all the promotion is still there.
Right.
You still have to get out and do it. I've got a friend who, he's got his band and he's got their songs on iTunes. They've sold maybe 1,000 or something.
Yeah.
But even still, he likes to go to iTunes. So let's see how many we sold today.
It's there, and I can link. I made a webpage a few years ago, so it's kind of like, hey, I have this going and just want to build stuff up. But what's neat is I'm not just a narrator, I'm also considered a producer, meaning I record the audio and also I edit it myself.
Okay.
And then I have my husband help master it because he's more with the sound levels and stuff. But it has to be a certain parameters that ACX wants.
Right.
But it's kind of neat learning that process, and it's fun because it is an acting gig. Because
oh no, absolutely,
I'm loading this, and I do different takes when I do read it, and I have to listen back and think, oh, I didn't do that so well, or I totally messed up and said the wrong word, or things like that. So it's a good learning experience. And one of the big project I did, the finished book is 7 hours.
7 hours.
That's the finished project. And so there was like countless hours before that trying to edit and the different takes, and so it was a big project. Yeah,
we can't edit the train out here. I'm sorry. The train decides to come whenever.
Yeah, but it's a learning experience.
Yeah.
So to me, it was fun and just.
But you've done audiobooks before, but even not doing it, but actually listening to them before, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what makes a good audiobook in your mind?
What makes a good one? That is interesting. Well, hopefully the subject matter is something you're going to want to read.
Sure.
But also just that whoever's reading it is displaying that emotion.
It makes a lot of difference. Yeah, because you mean the same book.
You don't want it just monotone and boring. To me, that would be boring.
Yeah, and there are some that are that way, right?
Voice or interesting characters. Yeah. Yes. There's like some free sites that you go on and you can listen to stuff for free.
Yeah.
And I'm real picky because as an actor, I'm just like, oh, that's horrible. Like, I could do that. I could do better than that, And so I'm always got that actor kind of hat on, listening and thinking, oh, I like that choice that person made or whatever.
Right.
I'm always.
Well, we drive a lot. You probably drive a lot too, and so there are a lot of things. It's just nice to be able to hear.
Right.
Right. I remember the Harry Potter books. I couldn't read them. But I didn't mind listening to them.
Yeah.
And then and of course, if you see it, of course, know. But being able to hear it, and if you had a reason, and cats, it was just disc after disc after disc. It just goes on and on. I think it was way past 7 hours.
Oh yeah, that's a lot. But see, they made it interesting.
Yes.
And to me, that's the thing. Make it interesting. Treat it like it's an acting gig.
Yeah.
Have that emotion and the different voices and characters, and that's fun.
Right. So. Where have you been in Texas? Have you always been in Texas, or have you moved around?
I'm born in Texas. I'm actually from a little town called Stonewall.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of Fredericksburg, Texas?
Yes, Fredericksburg, yes.
It's like 20 minutes from Fredericksburg. So if you've gone on 290 from Austin to Fredericksburg, you would have passed through the town.
And didn't even know it?
You just didn't notice it. There's not even a population sign. But so I grew up in a tiny town.
Yeah.
And then I graduated from Fredericksburg High School.
Mm-hmm.
And then went to college in Texas and everything. And lived in Texas all my life. And moved around for different teaching jobs before, and then my husband and I have been here for about 5 years now. Down here to be by family. His family lives settled in Spring a number of years ago, so we came to this area and we like it. And we're here.
So what do you do to decompress?
Well, I love doing theater.
Well, but other than theater, because we know you do theater, we'll talk about that some more. But what do you do?
I like watching movies, TV shows. I'm a big Game of Thrones. It just premiered.
You're a Game of Thrones person, right? So why is it engaging to you?
Oh gosh, it's just there's so many interesting characters, and there's just so many interesting things going on, and all these characters, because it's Game of Thrones, they're all trying to win the crown. They're all going for this main goal, but everybody's going about it in a different way.
Right.
And some people are more honest, and other people are just horrible characters and deceitful and killing people, and it just I like that dynamic of the interplay between the different
So there's many stories.
Yeah, I like that. I like the different stories and following who's doing what when.
Right.
and then how they kind of come together. And it's what's interesting is when some of those characters who never had anything to do with each other now they're coming together. It's like, oh, what's going to happen? Now, what is their story now going to be?
Right.
How are they going to help each other? Are they going to betray each other?
I mean, not unlike Cruz and Kasich. Going up the truck.
I don't even want to talk politics. I don't want to go there, but yeah.
That's crazy. You know, I'm a Netflixer.
Oh yeah.
I'll binge Netflix stuff, and I guess most of that's because you don't have time to do it at the particular. You've got a rehearsal or work or whatever, and that kind of sets your schedule. But when you've got the time, like can't sleep, whatever, right? And then I haven't seen the series. It's been canceled 5-10 years, and then you watch it, and you're really into it. You watch the whole thing. Yeah, no, it's a great thing.
Yes. I did that with a lot of series. And it's like, now it's done, and now I want the next series, the next season, and it's not.
And it's not there.
Like
you got to wait for it, right?
You have to wait. So that's the only problem about the instant gratification of Netflix, because it's like you get spoiled, and I can watch a whole season in a day or a few days, like parcel it out, and then it's like, okay, now I have to wait.
You said you liked working one-on-one better with the students.
Yeah.
For acting. What do you like to work with them on?
Oh, no, I was saying just in general.
But just in general, but when you're working,
when I did talk to him, I actually thought about pursuing school counseling before, but then I thought, okay, there was too much other stuff I didn't want to do, like the paperwork side and the testing, and I just thought, that's just not...
That hasn't changed.
Not my thing.
That has not changed in Texas schools, unfortunately.
But no, a lot of kids would just really relate to me and tell me about their lives, and I always found that fascinating, and I'm fascinated by just what people do, like what they do in their lives, like job-wise or their hobbies.
Yeah.
I'm interested in what...
And especially high school, I think they need that. They need an adult mentor that isn't their parents.
They would come to me and talk to me about, certain things, or they... And so I enjoyed that, or just encourage an encourager.
Right.
To encourage them, okay, we'll go for this, try this, or, things like that.
What roles haven't you done that you'd like to do yet?
Haven't done. Anything Shakespeare. I actually have never been...
You'd like to do Shakespeare? Yeah,
I haven't done anything Shakespeare, and I would love to do that.
I always think, when I think of Shakespeare done well, I think Kenneth Branagh.
Oh, yeah.
He brings it to life so much. I mean, because this language is so... it's getting the feel for it. But when he says it, you know what he means without even understanding what the heck he said.
Much Ado is like one of my favorites.
Much Ado is so funny.
And that filmed version, that's like one of my favorites.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. To me, that's the way it should be done.
Yeah.
Have you ever done Shakespeare in the Park?
No.
Seen it.
Seen it. No, there's a...
Like Houston has it
Miller
sometimes.
Outdoor Theater?
Yes, Miller Outdoor Theater does it, yes.
Yes. I saw some of that before, and
And that could be fun. It can be awfully hot and stuff, but it's kind of fun to kind of see it. So. Where have you traveled to that you enjoy doing, or it's interesting?
I want to travel more, just haven't had time with jobs and money.
Sure.
But I've been to Canada before.
Where'd you go to Canada? Where?
Oh gosh, where did we go? Whatever's around the border.
You mean like Niagara Falls?
No, never been there. No, more like above like Montana and stuff like kind
of. Like Calgary and stuff. Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
It's been a long time.
So it's the Rockies, and it's a great thing. I've got relatives up that way, so I need to go see them. I haven't seen them.
But I want to go to England. I've never been. That's like.
Well, what's in England that you want to see? Okay, it's a great place, but what's there that you want to see?
Theater. The culture, I've always been like an Anglophile, like my whole life, like obsessed with British culture and things. Like I'm a Doctor Who freak. Oh, you're another Doctor Who fan, like Jonathan and Sherry. Yes, I love Doctor Who.
Okay, so the question: how many doctors do you consider? Because apparently there's a big controversy.
There's a half in there, so
there's kind of like some people consider or not. Is it the War Doctor or not? He's
one. He's like the half or whatever. He's the War Doctor.
The War Doctor.
I do count him too.
You count him too.
Yes. So I want to go stalk them, stalk the Monty Python people.
Sure.
But things like that. I mean, just the culture, just everything, just love it. And so I want to go, and especially I want to go and see some theater there.
It's actually not that expensive. Surprisingly, I remember when we went on our honeymoon, it was cheaper to go to London than it was to go to New York.
Wow.
On an airplane. Now, I mean, once you get there, it's different, but just to get there wasn't that bad. And the winter, to me, is a great time to go. Even though the days are short.
I don't do cold, though.
Yeah, but you've lived in Texas, right?
Yes.
London isn't any colder than here.
Yeah, I'm so
because it's coastal. It's coastal, and so it's a mild winter. I mean, The one time we went where it snowed, it might have been 30 degrees out. That was cold for there. Okay. It just doesn't get that cold. If you get inside, then it's pretty much. I would say New York is colder than London, big time. I mean, it's always moist, and so you got to bring your coat, but everybody's wearing a coat, so what,
Yeah, and that's another bucket list. I haven't been to New York yet. So
who else? Sherry? Did Sherry? I want to say Sherry says she hadn't been to New York. Yeah, she's been to London, but she hadn't been to New York.
Wow, I haven't been either yet. So I mean, that's someday.
It's a fun. I don't want to live there. It's a great place to visit, but
crowded and noisy for me. Because I grew up out in the country, like literally out in the country, and it was like quiet. So I'm more of I like quiet.
Do you want to go back to the country?
Maybe someday, but no, but I appreciate it now. But growing up, I always I want to be in a city. I want to be able to go wherever I want to go. If it's at midnight, I want to go to a store if I can. Just have that access. I always felt more of a city person, and people that made me think, they think I'm from the north or don't think that
I don't know. I would have thought that too, actually. Yes. And I guess because you don't seem to have a typical Southern drawl or something.
And I can talk like that if I need to.
If you need to.
I don't have that.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. When I was a kid too, I played Barbies all the time. And I'm an only child.
Okay.
So, and also an only child growing up in the country. So I know a lot of what my issues are. But but no, I mean, so I was alone a lot and just. Right. I've always had a big imagination, so I played with Barbies a lot, and that helped me I basically wrote plays in my head and just acting
all
out
these different
things.
voices.
Yes, I would do different voices, did different, costumes. One time, my friend and I, we did like a Miss America pageant with my Barbies, because that's all I wanted every year. Just give me a Barbie and I'm cool. And so, we had a swimsuit competition, talent competition. I made up different voices and names and everything for my friend. She's playing with me, but also other times she was just just watching the show because I was just so into it. Wow. And so to me that was it was like theater for me because it was fun, just that imagination and play, come up with stuff.
Have you done stand-up before?
No, I haven't.
You sound like you'd be good at stand-up.
Oh, okay.
Because you've been, because you said you've worked on all these skits and you obviously kind of gone through these things in your head, what works, doesn't work, and stuff like that. It sounds like you do fine in stand-up.
I have to try that.
I'm not saying do it. I'm just, it's
sounds scary, but
we were talking to Joey and he says he's really into improv.
Yeah, that's fine.
But not necessarily the stand-up.
Right.
Because stand-up, he says, you're out there all by yourself.
And improv is something I haven't officially tried either, but it sounds like I would have fun with that too.
He's trying to get back into it in this area. He said he started an improv group when he was at Angelo State, and he wants to kind of start in this area. I think it's a fabulous skills.
Yes.
To especially on stage when something goes wrong,
right,
or somebody forgets their line or whatever.
Exactly. Well, part of it part of listening and just being in that moment and reacting, because that's what acting is. It's acting and reacting.
So let's talk about your style. Do you have any particular philosophies or style for acting when you prep for a character?
Well, I'm kind of a researcher. I like to research the play and the kind of background of things, just kind of, and also because of my imagination, I think of backstory for the character. So for Chris, for Rumors, I'll tell Robert, who plays Ken, my husband, it's I don't think she likes you. I don't think they like each other. And I think of all these things that maybe they do in their life. It's I don't think they cook much. They probably have takeout all the time because they're lawyers and they're busy. So I make up stuff. I make up things just for fun, but also kind of to make the person more real. Because yes, they're printed on the page, but I'm bringing this person to life.
Yes.
So I guess my main philosophy is just one thing that Travis, the director, has said, which I agree with, is to be truthful. Just be a real person. So I'm taking a lot of me into it, especially with a comedy. I can let out that goofy side, even though this character is a little more refined than I am in real life. I'm just. So I guess just being truthful.
Yeah, we were talking about that. That is the one thing that you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to have trained, but you can detect it. The audience is out there, and if they sense that you're not being truthful, they'll get it. They may not understand what it is, but they'll get it.
Right.
Yeah. And so at least if you're authentic that way, that's one step. It's not everything, but at least it's the first step to being engaged, being related to the characters. So absolutely, it's pretty cool. Yeah. So you London's on the bucket list. Yes. Where else is on the bucket list?
Oh gosh, everywhere. No, but anywhere pretty much in Europe, England, Ireland, Scotland.
Okay, so
even Germany, because my background, I'm German.
Right.
A lot of my family is German, so that'd be cool. I just want to go and check those places out.
Yeah. Did you learn German when you were a kid?
A little bit, like in high school. I
didn't learn Chinese when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I just went to Brenham a couple of weeks ago, and to the one of their heritage museums.
Okay.
And the captions were in English and German.
Oh.
Not in Spanish, German. And
Makes sense.
and not only that, not that I read German, but when I looked at it, I didn't find any long words. And I kind of asked them, like, what's with this? They said, well, this is our dialect.
Yes.
And they said until recently, maybe almost to World War II, they spoke German almost exclusively. And then, of course, German went out of fashion because of World War II. I think so.
Right.
But still, yes, they have their own version of German. So, it's on the captions everywhere.
But my family, has been in Texas for a long time.
Yes.
Like several generations,
Sure,
but it's
sure.
like when people moved from Germany to like central Texas,
Right.
like Fredericksburg, they settled. That's where a lot of my people
Right.
settled.
Right.
And it's kind of neat.
Are you into ancestry type stuff?
A little bit. My
bit?
granny used to be like really big into genealogy,
Right.
And found out different things about different relatives,
Right.
Which I think
So she was the historian for the family?
Yes.
Unofficially?
Yes. Because she was into that.
Yeah. Right. You haven't really got into it, or just
Not as much, but just from things that she told us. Apparently, the preacher that married Pocahontas, and who did she marry? John Rolfe?
Okay, yeah. Well,
Not Smith, John Rolfe, I think. Whoever Pocahontas
Right.
married, that preacher is
Yes.
my ancestor.
Oh, wow.
I don't know, I just think that's
pretty
kinda
cool.
cool. I mean,
that
it's
is
just-
cool, yeah.
Stuff like that.
And she found that out?
Yes. She was able
Wow.
to trace that far back. I'm like, that's neat.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Any crafts you like to work on, and things, whether it's jewelry or,
Yeah, I like to do like
Those.
just different little decorative craft things, like
Uh-huh.
wreaths or just what have I worked on? I want to learn how to sew. I haven't done that
It's
yet.
almost a lost art. I think it is coming
See,
back
my
a little
mother-in-law
bit.
sews, and
yeah.
she does beautiful work.
Yeah.
It's just I'm not very good at like measuring, so like having to cut the fabric and all that
Oh,
stuff and
yeah.
piecing it. But no, I enjoy just gluing things on things, stuff like that. But I
That's
enjoy
right.
doing things like that
Yeah.
and collage type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I want to.
There was a time when Walmart didn't even have a sewing section.
Yeah, they kind of.
And it's kind of come back again, but yeah, there was a
Hobby
time
Lobby, just give me
yeah.
money and let me go run wild.
Oh, Hobby Lobby is that's a
Hobby
fun
Lobby.
place
I always
to
find
go.
something cool.
Oh, they got some neat stuff there. Hobby Lobby. What else? Kind of stores like that. Of course, they're not open on Sunday, so if you got the anger to do something, right?
Or there's Michael's.
But you can go to Michael's, yes.
Right.
You can go, all those are fun places. In Texas, I mean, do you do road trips? I mean, is that within the time that you usually get to relax or something like that? Can you do a road trip someplace? Or?
I would love to. It's just with like work, because my husband's a teacher, and so we just haven't had a lot of time.
Yeah,
to
no.
do vacations or anything right now.
Right.
So
Right.
when we do, we'd love to do something. But
So what does he teach?
He teaches English.
Okay, you got two English teachers.
Yes,
in the
yes.
family.
Oh, it's funny. At one point, we were actually at rival schools. Yes, and we actually competed in like UIL.
Yes,
different
competitions.
plays.
Yes. Yep.
His school beat mine. I'm just like, no, that's not right.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. But yeah, we were like kind of like parallel there. But
Yeah.
But he also adjunct teaches at Lone Star College.
Yes.
So he wants to move more towards being a professor.
Yeah.
He's getting tired of high school students.
Really? I can't imagine
He's
why.
done it 13 years.
Yeah,
He's
he survived 13 years in
Yes.
high school. Oh my goodness.
He's kind of ready to move on.
Let's just say I think it takes a gift to be
Yes.
able to work with high school students. That's true. Maybe junior high is even more.
Well, like I said, I had junior high and high school for him. Just like I like you as individuals. Collectively, y'all are all crazy. So, which is true.
So what you said, Chris is obviously a little different from you, but what do you
Yes.
find in you that's kind of that you could use for Chris?
Okay. I guess just that kind of that nervousness, just kind of goofy.
You're not nervous,
energy.
are you?
Well,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, just
Right.
I can be just that
Right.
kind of goofiness, and
Yeah.
I like all the physical comedies and
Mm-hmm.
comedy of it, and just been told I have a very expressive face, so like a lot of the facial
Yes.
expressions that
Yes.
I do
Mhm.
for her, just
Yeah.
looking at somebody like when Jono, when
Right.
his character Glenn says
Yes.
some stupid things, I'm just staring at the back of his head like, you are an idiot. And so even though I'm not saying it, I'm trying to emote that with my face like, you are an idiot. And so
Yeah.
I'm just hoping that come through just to,
Yeah.
I like that. It's fun to do just the facial expressions of, I don't have a line, but I'm
exactly. Yeah,
reacting, and it's fun.
For first time acting kind of students, or not even students, but people that like say come in community. We have people that have never done stuff before. You have professionals, but the first timers, or even people that have been around. It's always interesting how they always think of like comedy. They're always it's like about the lines, but if you're a really good comedian, it's everything around those lines.
That's true.
That's not said. All this nonverbal, like you said,
the nonverbal
that emoting that you're doing. There's nothing said there, but there's definitely communication.
Yes. Or sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Yes. Yeah.
And a lot of this show that we're doing is a lot about that, reacting to each other and listening and staying on top of, because everybody's got something else different going on in their head.
Right.
Oh no, how is this going to affect me as the character?
Exactly.
I mean, what's this going to do to my reputation, to my career, to my
Yes.
life?
Yeah.
What's going to happen tomorrow? And so some of those things, that kind of helps. I mean, sometimes I am thinking those things just from a character standpoint.
Yeah.
Other times I'm just listening and just reacting and enjoying my fellow, co-stars. Just
Right.
and trying not to laugh because they're hilarious.
They're so funny.
Especially
Yeah.
Alan, he cracks me up like every time.
The funny thing about
He's so
Alan
funny.
is that if you've ever seen Alan do stuff, he used to be really into drama. And I'm not saying he still isn't. And I don't mean any drama, like heavy
Yes.
stuff.
Oh, I can see that.
And when he would do that, that's all he wanted to do. He wanted to be in these heavy dramas. But he's really good at comedy, and he seems like he's kind of found this kind of the element of farce and fun, and really enjoying it. And it's not as simple as you think.
No, it's hard. I mean, it's all hard. I mean,
Yeah. So no, I'm glad that he's found that too. But yeah, he's. Fun.
But no, everybody is so talented and funny. I'm enjoying
Yeah.
watching them, but staying in character. But it's also I'm having fun watching.
It's a wonderful ensemble
Yeah.
you guys have up there.
Especially
on
his
stage.
monologue. I'm just like amazed every night. When he does it. I'm just like, he's amazing, and it's just so fun to watch.
Okay. Well, when you finally get a break from Rumors, what are you going to do next?
Sleep. I'm tired. No. Just relax a little bit and then kind of see what else is next to audition for. Because I would love to keep going. Now, the only thing that I need to work on is I don't sing and I don't dance, and so I've never done musicals. Even though my husband says I can sing kind of decently, I've never pursued it or tried to do that. So maybe if I tried and sang in the background with a chorus, I might be okay.
Yeah.
Or someone can teach me how to dance.
You know what? The chorus.
Might be able to.
The chorus gets to do quite a bit in musicals, and most people kind of poo-poo it, but really you can have a lot of fun in chorus. I mean, because there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it isn't all just right on you, which is kind of nice.
Yes.
You can still have fun with it, but
So that's something I do want to try because I just have never
absolutely
auditioned for one. Well, I have auditioned, I just didn't get anything, but I've always done just the straight plays, just
right. No, absolutely. You need to do that. Yeah.
But I've been in comedies before. I've been in serious things. I was Elizabeth Proctor in The Crucible before, The Garza. Also Lizzie in The Rainmaker. So like some kind of heavy roles.
Right.
But I love those roles. But then I was in some comedies and things. And one thing in grad school that was really fun that I enjoyed was the 24-hour play festival. Have you ever heard of this concept?
There's a lot of there's Madcap over there that they used to have at the Playhouse. Now Queensbury, there's places like that, that do these kind of things, right? You got 24, 48 hours to write, and then they usually give you something, right? Otherwise, you'd be preparing before, so they have to kind of figure out.
No, they just basically say, okay, we would show up as actors and directors and the playwrights, maybe like 7 or 8 o'clock on a Friday night.
Right.
Then, so they see who the pool of people they have to work with, and then the directors, I guess, would pick, okay, I want to work with this group of people, and I guess with this playwright. And then they would just say, okay, we'll just, I don't even know if they told us who we were going to be working with. They're just like, okay, come back tomorrow at 7 or 8 a.m. Like, okay. Came back. Then we got a script, said who we were working with. And that was so much fun because it's like we're blocking, we're doing everything, memorizing, going home to go get props and costumes and whatever we needed, and then performed at 8 o'clock the next night. Yeah. And of course, they were short plays, like maybe 15 minutes.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it was a lot of work for a day to put it all together, and it was so much fun.
So what parts of the brain do you find that when you're acting, or in like something like this 24-hour festivals, that exercise that is different from any other part of your life?
You have to be focused, and you have to be, like, I keep saying in the moment, but it's true. You have to be in the moment and especially when I'm acting, I can't let my mind wander.
Right.
Because otherwise I'm going to miss something. And so
Right.
you have to be focused on other people on stage.
Well, if you want to be good.
Yes.
But, I mean,
Yeah.
you know how you've seen this too. There are people that can, and I've done it myself. Where you're off stage, but you're not necessarily a character, and you come on, as opposed to always being, like you say, in the moment.
Right.
I mean,
when I'm off
where
stage,
you are, and,
if I
so
go
it's
off
fine.
stage, I mean, I can take off the character and be myself, but then.
Yeah. But there are some people that
get back
don't,
in.
right? Man, they're just like,
On
I'm in
all
the
the
character.
time.
What like I said,
Right.
it's half an hour before curtain call. Don't bother me. I've got
Right.
to get. I'm in character. I've got to stay this
Yeah.
way.
See, that's
And
cool,
so
but I'm
that's
like, I guess it depends on the role. For this, I haven't felt the need to like, okay,
Right.
leave me alone.
Right.
I'm kind of able to just kind of
right.
get into,
It's kind of turn on, turn off.
turn it on, turn
right.
it off. Yeah. But like, I just remember after I did The Crucible with Elizabeth, that was such an intensely emotional part. And then I did a show, I forgot what I did immediately after that, but pretty soon after that, I was still kind of, and it was a comedy. I said, don't remember what exactly it was, I just know I did something comedy. I was still kind of in Elizabeth mode.
Oh, really?
It was still,
Yes.
it kind of took me a while to kind of get out of her sadness, because I got so
Right.
involved in it. I don't
Right.
know, it was just so...
You're not a method actor, are you?
No.
No,
but-
you said in the moment, which is more
No,
Meisner to
but
me.
I don't know, but,
yes, but
no, but for whatever reason, that role just like really, it was one of a major role and it was really important to me.
yes,
but
it still had an impact on
something
you,
about
a
it,
residual
yeah, I was just
impact.
still kind of like
Right.
dealing with her stuff, and it was kind of weird. I'm like, I've never had this before. but I think I did that other one pretty soon after, so
Right.
I just kind of I got over it. But it was kind
Right.
of such a heavy role, it kind of like carried with me into the next one, and I just remember that thinking, that never happened before.
So that's interesting. So with dramas, it says like normally there isn't some kind of residual effect on you, on your life. What is other than you take away the experience, but it's not something that kind of stays with you.
It kind of does, because thinking back on those characters and what they were going through, I mean, I empathize, you
Yes.
have kind of empathy and sympathy for people. And so, of just what they were going through.
Sure.
And so I guess that's part of it, because you bring your own personal experience
Yes.
into that, and thinking about it later on. And so, yeah, but also just because those roles meant so much to me, because it was like this in a major role, and I wanted to make sure I did it well and make sure that she was portrayed well, and so it meant a lot to me to be in those. If that makes any sense.
No, absolutely.
But I
It does,
understand,
yeah.
but yes, but on other stuff, I'm able to like you said, turn it off and
And turn it
turn
on.
it
And that's
back on.
okay. And
Yeah.
that's
So I'm
fine.
not method. I wasn't like sitting around eating, in my Puritan outfit, being sullen all the time. But does that make sense? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I commend people that are into that, and that's cool. But
If that works for them, that's
if it
not
works
that's
for
not me.
them-
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's not me
right.
either. I'm just
Right.
like, I understand how you can do that, but I don't feel the need
Right.
to go that extreme. I can do that when I need to, but I don't feel like to live in it.
Right. So at the Y, is it a lot of customer service type
Yes.
activities you have to do?
So I'm talking on the phone with people,
Right, yeah.
about their memberships and other questions about
Sure.
programs we offer, just greeting members. So I see
Sure.
a lot of the same people every day and just kind of build up that camaraderie and, hey, how you doing?
Right.
How's it going today? And I work out there as well, and so
Right. So, have you noticed over time how customer service is different or has to be different because of your clientele?
yes.
How, is that good or bad? What's going on
Well, because
there?
we have, at the Y that I work at, we have a lot of older
Yeah.
clientele.
Yeah.
And so I try to be very respectful. I was taught to say, hello, sir, ma'am.
It's a Southern
things
thing,
like
of
that.
course, yes.
And also, until they tell me, Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so, until they tell me, call me by my first name,
Right.
I don't.
Right.
And so I've had people say, oh, no, that's my dad's name. Call me
Right.
by my first name.
Right.
So until then, I don't. If they're a lot older,
Right.
and someone more my age, or, what
Right,
I mean? It
right.
depends on the person. But I feel like, and I take pride in that, as a customer service, to
Sure.
be kind to people and to help them with whatever they need help with. And it is a lot of listening too, because sometimes
Yes.
people will complain about stuff that I have zero control over. I'm just at the front desk and I'm just the messenger of
That's right.
bad news, or they'll
you get it thrown at you.
Yeah, they have
you're
a
just in the
problem,
way.
and then I'm
Yeah.
the one that gets the chewing out. I'm just like, okay, well, let
Right.
that department know. And so sometimes I just have
So
to.
how do you deal with that? Because I think that's one of the toughest things to do as customer service. I remember my son was saying that too. Is that some customer comes in and for whatever reason they chew you out, whatever. It's not your fault. You just have to be the representative of the organization. So guess what? You get to have all this.
Well, my main thing is I notice and learn as a teacher too. If someone's like hyper at you, be calm. Because if I try to get up in their face about things, and there's just going to escalate. It just keeps escalating. So I listen to them. Yeah. I ask them questions if I need something to clarify, and then I'll just be like, I'm sorry this happened, and I'll make sure the appropriate person gets that information. I mean, just so they're just kind of acting involved because I have to be. Because sometimes I have to be nice to people that kind of. You don't feel like being nice to. Yes, there's some that I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're annoying, but I have to be nice to them. Which happens in life anyway. Yes, it does. It's a life lesson, absolutely. Yes, but I do try to be genuine. I mean, I feel that I am a genuine person and genuinely nice to people. And like I said, I do see a lot of the same people, and I'm actually like, oh, hey, it is nice to see you because it's a friendly face.
I think that's one of the nicest things, when you work in any organization. When you start to recognize people. And people do value that. Yes. I love going to a restaurant.
And they recognize me, too. I've been there almost a year. And they're like, oh, you're here. And I'm like, well, now. And I just got full-time because I was part-time and now I'm full-time. Because sometimes in customer service, there's a lot of turnover. Right.
Yeah. Well, anywhere. Banks or
anywhere. There's turnover. But it's like, oh, okay, when they see me, like sometimes I bug people. There's one couple that comes in at like 3 o'clock every day. Right. Almost on the spot every day. I was just like, and then so if they come at 3:15 or 3:20, I'm like, oh, you're late today. So just like, I can kind of joke with people and it's fun.
But it's nice to have the relationship. I like that, especially at a restaurant when you go and they know who you are. If not my name, but at least they recognize you.
Hi, it's you. Yeah.
Because there's too many instances where the customer service isn't good
horrible.
Like that.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's horrible.
No, I know. And that's disappointing to me because being in that, if you're in customer service, you need to know how to be nice to people and
make them feel welcome.
Make them feel welcome. Yeah. But one thing I do like about the job too is I can turn it off. I go home and I don't have to worry about preparing things. I just go home and it's not as stressful. Like teaching was stressful. Right. This is kind of nice to where it's just I go and I'm nice to people all day and see what happens.
And I'm tired of it now. I don't want to do this
anymore. But does that make sense though?
Yeah. Let's go back to the audio recordings and stuff. Like you say here, sound is a big deal, especially if that's what you're doing, podcast. Then, of course, it's everything. Right. But even in video, it's still important. So how do you control all these elements that you don't want in there? The air conditioner turning on, the car driving by. How do you do that?
Just have to kind of sometimes have to pause and wait. Because what I did is, because I do this from my house, I have this closet that'll open like this, and you can kind of step in. It's not a total walk-in, but kind of there's a little bit of space. Well, I put my desk in there, and then I bought a trifold screen from used to be Garden Ridge, it's called At Home now. Yes. And so then I took this big moving blanket, clamped it in the closet. Yep. Then you put that over that. Folding screen behind you. Right. And so it creates like a little cave. Okay. And I have another blanket on top of that folding screen to muffle out sound and such. And so I record from in there. Uh-huh. And so it does muffle out a lot of sound. And I have my microphone in this little plastic tub that we put kind of egg crate foam bedding stuff in there to also muffle. Right. And so there's been times where, somebody in a big truck will drive down the street or there's a plane. Right. And if I can hear it, it'll pick up on the thing. So when that happens, I'll just kind of wait. Or I'll just say, oh, there's a plane. Make sure you edit this out. I'll say that to myself, because when I go back and listen.
Right. It's quick to find. Something easy
it's like
to find.
I know that there's a plane there. Right. So sometimes you just have to wait it out. But that's pretty much the only major issues with the sound. Or sometimes, like I said, having to listen back and I realized, oh, I said this completely wrong. I said the wrong word or said something or I didn't like the take and it sounded strange. Uh-huh. So that's just a learning process.
So you said you record it, you also edit it yourself. Yes. Who reviews it on the other end?
Okay, so it has to be mastered in a certain way. So ACX, which is the company, there are certain parameters it has to be. Now, I don't remember all the technical stuff, but it has to be certain decibels or certain levels of such. So we run it through a process to make sure it's at those levels, then submit it to them. Now, at each step, the author will review things saying, not on the technical end, but on the performance end. It's like, okay, this sounds good, this chapter and whatnot, this character. Right. But then, ACX, once you submit it to them, then they review it for the final time, making sure everything is levels they want it. Right. And then if it's okay, then it's basically ready to be sold.
Cool.
So it's just kind of like going through them.
Right.
In a way.
That is pretty cool.
It is cool, but you just have to audition. I mean, that's only
well.
I mean,
sometimes like I said, we used to talk to people. That's the other thing. Okay,
Yeah.
So what do you tell first timers that are scared about auditioning?
Just do it. I know that sounds horrible because I'll be honest, I'm still nervous at auditions.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot, and honestly, I'm better at cold readings. So
Yes.
that's why I was so excited that for this show.
Yeah,
Because
it's
I did
cold
research. I'm like, oh no, do I have to do a monologue? And because it had been a while since I had been in a show, and so I didn't have
Yeah.
a stockpile of stuff.
Yeah.
But I like cold readings much better because it gives me the chance to actually read the actual script and see if I like it or not. But
Right.
also to let the director see I can play with the different characters, and it was fun with this show because I got to read for the other ladies too,
Right.
and kind of be a different.
See, can you
character.
switch? Right.
Yeah, and show that yes, I can do something different
Mm-hmm.
with each person, as opposed to now monologues are great, they're great, but
Yeah.
I like that cold reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that sounds so generic, but that's true. Just auditioning, you just have to. You don't show up, you're not going to get anything.
Right.
Which is true. So you just have to have fun.
It helps. I think the more you do it, obviously,
And I've done a lot, but like I said, I'm still.
Yeah. Well,
Still
and I
nervous
think
doing it.
who's this? I was trying to think of who that was. Was that Billy Crystal? It's like any of the performers, that you
Can't
think,
imagine
any big
him
name
ever
person.
being nervous.
But I guess it's like that. Maybe it's not just nervous, but it's that energy you get before, like or anticipation
Yes.
before something occurs. Maybe it could be nervousness,
It is
but
the
not
excitement,
necessarily.
too. It's
But
the
there's an
excitement,
excitement
too,
yeah. And if there isn't some of that going into audition, then what's the point? Because it is a
Right.
performance too.
Yes.
Yeah. So there should be some of that.
If you're not
excitement.
feeling anything, then why are you doing it?
What's the point?
But I like that kind of,
Right.
a little bit of that anticipation, nervousness,
Right.
because it's like, well, am I going to do a good job? Are they going to like me? Are they going to like
Yeah.
my choices? And
Yeah.
it's just, then you think later, oh, I should have done this, but not beat yourself up about it, but
Right.
just have fun. And like, to me, have fun. Like auditioning
Yeah.
should be a fun process.
And for community theater, it's doubly whether they like you because it's not just about whether they like you for the part. Do we like being your friend?
Right.
I mean, because like I said, it is a community as well.
Yes.
I mean, we don't get paid for this, so we're
Right.
hanging out together.
Yeah.
So you want to enjoy it.
Right.
Oh, guess what's the point?
Yeah.
Right. So it's a kind of a double audition, and so a lot of times people do realize that the audition. I mean, you should try audition, especially if you haven't been there before,
Right.
because
like
you want
I did
the
for
people.
here. Like
right.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
I knew Jane because she
Right.
actually came to the Y. That's how
Right.
I met her. We got
Right.
talking about theater people. I'm like, that's awesome. And she told me, hey, come see the producers. So I did. And then they announced auditions. And I'm like, oh, I need to try this. And so it was. I was nervous, kind of coming in. Didn't know anyone but her. And so it's just like I said, been so welcoming and.
It's a community too. Like I
Yeah.
said, we do this to support the place, and so we want to hang out with people that you like to hang out with.
Right.
Because
And
what's the
also
point?
incorporate some new people.
And
into
get some
it.
new people.
Right.
Absolutely, you got to keep getting new people all the time. We're such a mobile society in that way, and that's. I guess it's good. It sometimes can be sad, but it's a good thing because then there's always fresh blood. New people to kind of bring into the fold. Is there anything on this set that's yours personally?
That I brought personally?
Yeah,
Oh,
no. There's nothing else. I know a lot of people. We're looking at this, and those chairs. That's our dog's chair. One of them is.
It's really comfortable.
And yeah, well, we got it from Frito Lay. And we had it for the longest time, and they were getting rid of their chairs, and so what are we going to do? And dog just decided to get up on the chair. It's not supposed to, and after a while you just kind of relent. How it goes, and next thing you know, it's their chair.
Yeah, we have 4 cats, and they basically.
Oh, but cats do whatever the hell they want.
They kind of
They allow you to live where
Yes,
you
true.
are. That's What kind of cats do you have?
cats.
Huh?
They're just.
They're not Siamese. They're not.
No, I mean one of my cats. I think he's part Maine Coon
Okay.
because he's like every time people see 2 of our cats. Oh, their names are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. I have a Rosencrantz and a Guildenstern because being in theater and English nerds, we have a Rosencrantz and Guildenstern because that's one of my favorite plays. Too.
Yes.
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Dead.
So the vet every time because like people that aren't theater people are like, what's Rosencrantz? I'm like, you don't know. I'm just like, well.
Skip it.
So I would go back and be like, well, have you ever heard of Hamlet? Let's talk about that. And it just always breaks my heart a little bit that they don't know Hamlet. It's like, well, he had these 2 friends, and then we would.
Yeah.
And there's also a play, but they're kind of like, he's a Maine Coon, part Maine Coon, and he's just like big and fluffy, and
Yeah.
He's a mama's boy. He's so sweet. He almost reminds me of like a golden retriever.
Yeah.
He kind of acts like a dog sometimes.
Right.
And then.
So how big is this cat?
He's big. He's like
20 pounds or something?
Close, maybe.
I've seen some cats that take a serious sized dogs.
Yeah.
Don't mess with them.
Yes.
There.
Yes. Yeah, he's just big. He's not fat. He's just
he's
a big cat.
big.
And then his brother, which supposedly when we got him, they have the same dad but different moms. Born on the same day. And it's weird. He's also big. We call him a little panther because he's like maybe 15, 16 pounds.
Right.
He's huge. Every time people see him, it's like, those cats are big. Then when I see like normal size, and then we have 2 cats that are I guess normal size, but they feel small.
Right.
But yeah, they're sweet. I just love. I'm a total crazy cat lady. I totally admit to it. I've always loved cats and cat related things. Like I'll collect stuff with cats on it and.
So that's how you decorate the house? You've got.
I just keep it in certain areas.
Certain areas.
So
okay.
I haven't like.
Okay.
Don't have it all. I'm not all that crazy. But
Okay.
I have like certain little collectible stuff like in my office and things. But.
Yeah. There's the new rap, I'll call it that, musical. Is it Hamilton on Broadway?
So I'm not as familiar. I've heard of it. I just
but the point is they wrote it with the intent of, from a historical perspective, they wanted to be able to teach history. Here comes the train.
Yeah.
To teach history about Alexander Hamilton, but in a kind of a fun way that people would relate to, and in particular kids, meaning like high schoolers and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if you did something like that with Shakespeare or any other industry, would it make it more accessible, or maybe some place where they could, you could reach? What do you think?
Well, that's a good idea, but also just from the standpoint of making theater more accessible in general.
Right.
Just with traditional plays, not necessarily changing the nature of the play.
Right.
But making it just more accessible so more people can come see it.
Right.
Whether it be a price or just I don't know.
Sometimes it's the words.
Of it or
yeah,
something,
exactly.
Or just getting people in here that aren't necessarily theater goers. Like I love whenever stuff's coming to town. I do my research. I look up what different places are doing. It's like, ooh, I want to go see this, or what the hobby center's doing.
Right.
But that's me because I enjoy going and I make that effort. And so, yeah, I mean that's one thing. I think there's a community issue. How do we get people who aren't theater goers to come to see? And I don't really have an answer.
Well, because we compete with. This is probably our number one enemy.
But I'll be honest.
And you see it in the phone. You see it in here too, right? You see everybody's light up.
Yeah.
All the messages on the screen they don't usually see it because their heads are in their phones.
There's interesting stuff on there, but to me, I'd rather go see a live show than go to a movie because a lot of times the movies that are out, I'm just like I don't even care.
Right.
Depending on the movie.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff.
Right.
And cost wise. Think about by the time you go to a movie theater, get your popcorn, get your drink, get whatever. It gets getting pretty expensive. But if you go to what is our show, $20?
Yep.
It's not bad.
No,
it's really not bad.
It's not. Unfortunately, licensing has gone way up.
Yeah.
For everything, I know there's some community theaters charging almost $40 because of the licensing fees.
I mean, sadly, that's a little steep. Even
it is.
As a theater goer, when I see that, I'm just like, oh, I'm going to have to really want to go see it to pay more. And so, like I said, I don't have an answer, but that's one.
No, and I think it's how do we get engaged and get some more?
With when I was a teacher, I would try to get kids. It's like, oh, hey, let's go and watch this. Or for a class, it's like, no, you need to go and watch something community. Oh, such a hassle.
Yeah.
Well, you go to the theater. You go do all this other stuff.
Right.
I mean, I'll go to the movie theater.
Right.
Why can't you go see something in your community?
Yeah, and I do think we have to figure out ways to engage them. Because one thing that it seems like we all like are those experiences, right? In fact, and I have to agree that I would rather spend money on an experience than spend money on a thing.
Right.
Only because the thing, the purchase of anything, whatever, you get that momentary pleasure, but after that kind of fades. But the experience can stay with you for some time.
Because theater, there's something well, I love it, but there's something about being in a live show.
Right.
Where it's just that interaction that you don't get in a movie theater. Sometimes, when I'm watching a movie at home or something, I can tune out. I can be playing on my computer, look at my phone, watch a little bit. When you watch live theater, be passive. But that's what I like about live theater. You have to be active. You're an active. If you're an audience member, you're an active participant in what's going on.
I don't know if you see this too. I found, when we're always looking for kids' activities, But we don't have to think that hard because coloring, they go ape for color. And I guess because they're so used to having everything digital and electronic now, something as simple as coloring is interesting. And not only to them, it's interesting to adults too.
Oh, I was about to
sometimes
say.
I see the adults do it. They get their own adult coloring books.
I have some adult coloring books.
Yeah.
It's like, I've always loved coloring, but now it's become like more in.
I
find it very therapeutic.
It's in.
No, I have some, and it's just something about just focusing on choosing the colors and just kind of let your mind kind of decompress.
Yeah.
I find it very
It's very relaxing, but I was shocked that it's, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, this whole phenomenon of coloring, back then. Yeah, so that is the most fascinating thing. All we have to do is have a little coloring exercise, and the kids, and sometimes the parents, ape for it. It's just amazing.
You go back to
something simple, yes. Yeah, so simplicity. What else? If heaven exists, what do you want God to say when you get to the pearly gates?
Serious stuff. No, I totally believe that. So I wanted to say, well done, my good and faithful servant. And this could be another time, another story, but I get to hold my children and see my mom again. Because we've lost 3 children, so.
3?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, so.
Jeez.
So theater for me is very therapeutic because it helps me process things.
I have
grief.
a show to do, and it is therapeutic.
But I understand that as a theater.
But you understand what I'm talking about, right?
Yes.
That you have a chance to be here, and it's a responsibility as well. I mean, you signed up for that. I mean, unless you're not dead, you're supposed to be here.
Right.
So, right.
And that's what I love about it too. Is like for those 2 hours or whatever we're doing the show, I'm in this world, and I don't have to think about.
But not only that, you're with this family. You were with this family. This is your family. We understand, that you need to carry on. That doesn't mean the grief isn't there. That doesn't mean that they mean any less to you. Okay. But sometimes our family doesn't understand that. Jen, thank you so much for being so. We'll have you back again sometime.
All right. Thank you very much.